Welcome to a special episode of Cosmic Road, coming at you live from Georgia. That's right. Let me know if you can hear me okay. If anybody is in here, we have a lot to talk about today. So let's just get right to it. We've got, first of all, a brand new UFO picture released from Canada. So let's talk about that. And it corresponds to a video released years ago. All right, from John Greenwald. 12 years ago, this UFO video was published on a relatively unknown YouTube channel called XXX Donuts XXX, which is a great name, which had the footnote that the video was licensable through an entity called WorldPix.tv, which seems to be defunct and may even have just been connecting to this YouTube channel that hasn't posted anything in 11 years, simply to license their own UFO video content out. Yeah, kind of weird, right? But let's keep going. Fast forward to this week. The object in the UFO video has a striking resemblance to the official photo release of the unknown object balloon, quote unquote, shot down over the Yukon in 2023, as published in the article recently by CTV News. Okay, so this is the photo that was recently released of the balloon shot down. It looks like every balloon I've seen, right? And this is a still from the video release. Here we go. I mean, that's bang on. I mean, that is exactly what that thing looks like. I mean, that's got to be it, right? I mean, that's got to be a legit video of the same or a very similar object. Not the first time we've ever seen horseshoe-shaped UFOs, but definitely an intriguing shape. We don't see too often, and I think this footage released by that weird YouTube channel or that weird channel XXX Donuts might actually be legit. Let me know what you think, guys, and let me know if you are hearing me okay. If everything is coming through okay. Let's see. Tim Clark. Hey, Tim, how's it going, man? I've sent you something which I can't say is the biggest thing ever. Okay. Oh man. Okay. I have been I haven't checked my email. I haven't been doing anything lately, guys. I've been doing baby stuff. Yeah. I got the baby sitting right over there being a good baby. But I have been paying attention to some of the UFO news, guys, and we've got a lot to talk about. It's actually been popping since I've been gone. Of course, as soon as I step out, stuff starts popping. But one of the things that's going on, of course, is that the UAP amendment looks like it may have been crushed, and it's too bad. It's too bad, but it's not over. It's not over. All right, here is what Dean Johnson had to say. UFO update: the UAP Disclosure Act fails to make the cut for the manager's amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act, the NDAA. Senate Armed Services Committee Chairman Senator Jack Reed and Ranking Republican Roger Wicker yesterday filed a massive manager's package to the NDAA, consuming 88 pages in the congressional record. This mega amendment includes the text of 93 separate proposals, including complete bills dealing with subjects not related to the military, such as measures creating federal judgeships, regulation of hard rock mines, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But what it does not include is the UAP amendment. This spells the end for the UAPDA in the current Congress. For whatever reason, the UAPDA did not achieve the degree of consensus necessary to make it into the omnibus bipartisan manager's amendment, which means the UAPDA will not even be an issue in this year's House Senate negotiations that will produce the final FY 2025 NDAA later this year, which is a real bummer. As Matt Ford says, did not make it into the manager's package. Now the gloves will come off. Liberation Times has some interesting things to say, though. Okay, so first of all, Liberation Times says Liberation Times has uncovered details of an alleged program that focused on retrieving advanced crafts from beneath the sea, some reportedly of non-human or unknown origin. This alleged program draws on multiple agencies and departments, specialized assets, and expertise to carry out these missions. Whoa, so get a load of that, guys. There's not just a UFO crash retrieval program on land. There's one at sea. How wild is that? Are there submarines going down there collecting UFOs? Is that what submarines do? What percentage of submarines are collecting UFOs? How big is this operation? How many UFOs or USOs crash? It's just crazy, guys. If atmospheric disturbances cause UFO crashes, above the sea, what causes them below the sea? Are they shoot downs? Is it because of, energy, electromagnetic instability of the earth, which is what I've heard? This sounds like the most reasonable explanation for why UFOs keep crashing is they don't respond well to our electromagnetic field, which is unstable, which seems, weird because it seems like something technology like that should be able to compensate for, but yeah, whatever. Who knows? But yeah, USO crash retrieval program. Among those involved are the maritime branch of the CIA's Directorate of Operations, the U.S. Navy, of course, the National Underwater Reconnaissance Office, jointly operated by the Navy and CIA, the U.S. Special Operations Command. It is further understood that the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution has provided deep submergence vehicles to support these retrieval efforts. So at least some of these submersibles or submarines are coming from that group, the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution, which I've never heard of. Once recovered, these craft are allegedly transferred to the Office of Naval Research, which subsequently hands them over to defense contractors for detailed analysis. And then they're not happy with that, and so they try to get eminent domain from the defense contractors because they're holding out on them. It's crazy. It's crazy. But getting back to the UAPDA, if the act had passed, the president would have appointed 9 impartial citizens, theoretically, I have my doubts, to a newly established UAP Records Review Board, overseen by the Senate's Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs. We know about the review board, but we don't know is who killed the UAP amendment. Well, according to Liberation Times, it was Rand Paul. After initially declining to comment on the record via email, a staffer from Senator Rand Paul's office has now told Liberation Times through a phone call that the senator cleared the UAPDA to be included within the manager's package. In a separate phone transcript obtained by Liberation Times, a staff member states, Senator Paul cleared that amendment, so any delay was not due to his actions. Okay, all right. Notably, in 2021, Senator Paul implied the $22 million secured by the late Senator Harry Reid for a UAP program was a bad use of government money. Yeah, spending money investigating UFOs is a bad use of money. Interesting take there, Rand Paul. The most important thing that we could be studying, the most significant world-changing, humanity-changing thing we could ever possibly study, not even worth $22 million, which is nothing for the Pentagon. Okay, interesting take. But this marks the second successive failure for the UAPDA, which was gutted by the NDAA. We know it was gutted the last time, in part because of AARO. There you go. The UAPDA is toast, at least in that iteration. Now, Steve Bassett has said that fear not, there will be a standalone bill that even though it's not included in this manager's package, there will be something that will go forward as a standalone bill. Now, I love Steve Bassett. I've had him on the show, but he does tend to be way more optimistic than I am. So fingers crossed he's right. We'll see. We'll see. I would love it for that to be the case. I think we need some, I mean, obviously we need some forward progress on this stuff. But will we get it? I'm thinking that the next year is going to be a lot better. I'm thinking that, the NDAA passed in, late 2025 or 2026 is going to be so much better, or, is going to have so much more the UAP DA amendment included in it. Because we're going to make so much more progress by then, galvanizing the public with documentaries like James Fox's documentary, Lou Elizondo's book, and him making the rounds, and the hearings that we're going to get to. So let's go over the hearings, because that's actually really exciting. All right, we know we're going to get the Kirsten Gillibrand hearing, and coming up shortly with the new AARO director. At least that's what it looks like. And about that, Christopher Mellon did have some encouraging things to say. And I'm just reading from my phone because, I've been at the hospital, until we got the baby back, looking at UFO news on my phone. And so here it is on my phone. He says, Christopher Mellon, I had the pleasure of spending several hours this week with AARO's new director, Dr. John Kozlowski. Kudos to the officials at the DOD and the IC who were involved in selecting Dr. Kozlowski for this important position. If my first impression proves accurate, everyone interested in UAP has reason to feel optimistic about a more informative, open-minded, productive, and transparent future for that office. Well, it wouldn't take much, Chris. Not that much hasn't already been accomplished by his predecessor. Oh, yes, so much the lovely Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick accomplished. Although I did not share Dr. Kirkpatrick's views on a number of key issues, Chris says, he did get the office up and running. I guess that's something. So he did get the office up and running. Never easy in the five-sided nut house. I mean, that's faint praise. I mean, Chris is so diplomatic. I mean, I love how diplomatic he is, and he's in the biz. He's got to be. But man, I mean, that's faint praise. He got it up and running. Yeah, that's about all you could say of the lovely Dr. John Kirkpatrick. But in the end, he seems to have made good headway in a number of areas, especially new UAP and sensor technologies. Okay, all right, fine. Still, I'm far more hopeful about the prospects for this office under new leadership. Yeah, really. To share more fully and candidly with our elected officials and, to the degree possible, the American public. So there you go, Chris, being very optimistic, or at least more optimistic about Dr. Kozlowski than with Sean Kirkpatrick, the lovely. So will Dr. Kozlowski end up being lovely? Or will he actually be lovely? We'll see. We'll see. But there is word of a new UAP hearing. But first, Michelangelo is talking about the green orbs in Lou Elizondo's house. Lou Elizondo says that again, this is interesting. Okay. We know about the green orbs, right? So Michelangelo says, Lou Elizondo says that he reported the green orb activity in his home to Hal Pudolph and Eric Davis. The OSAP ATIP boys just called it high strangeness and decided it was normal and didn't investigate it. I thought that was funny. Just green orbs in your house, Lou. We're not even going to bother investigating that. I thought that was interesting. Okay, but here, this is from Askapol. Hang on just a second. Representative Nancy Mace is chairing a second public UAP hearing in the U.S. House of Representatives on November 13th. Now, that is awesome. I'm super excited about that. We've heard that the new hearing was going to be, led by a female, and no surprise that it's Nancy Mace. She was asking amazing questions of David Grush. She is on the ball. She is awesome. And she is, she's not a skeptic or whatever. She is awesome. She is ready to go. As Matt Laszlo says, heads up. Okay, there we go. Key Mace. A key quote from Nancy Mace. November 13th, she exclusively tells Ask a Poll. I want whistleblowers to feel like they can come forward. I want people protected. Every American deserves the right to know how their tax dollars are being spent and what it's being spent on. And if it's no big deal, why hide it? Indeed, indeed. I don't trust anybody, she says. I can't trust anybody. I mean, truly, you can't trust anyone up here. You just can't. She says it 4 times. You can't trust anybody. Wow. No, it's an effing swamp, Matt Laszlo replies. And oh my gosh, Nancy Mace replies, it's the effing swamp. That is 100% right. Nancy Mace agrees. It's 100% right. Wow. Those are big words from a sitting congresswoman. Here she is talking about these skiffs. I go to these skiffs. I'll go for a briefing in a classified setting. And, well, we can't tell you because, I'm not read in on it. I don't know the name of the program. I'm not read in on it. And Mace tells Ask a Poll, how the hell are we supposed to know how much money is being spent on it and where it's being spent? It's bullshit. And that's all I have to say. And I don't like bullshit. And that's what we deal with a lot up here. That's a reason to have these hearings, get information, have greater transparency, and put the government on the spot at the end of the day. Love it. Love it. I'm very excited about this new hearing. I haven't seen any information about who is going to be at the hearing. Theoretically, hopefully, some of David Gross's witnesses. Steve Bassett on the interview that I had with him was talking about a whole range of witnesses, even going beyond the David Grush witnesses. So, we'll see if that happens or not. But that is more or less the timeline that Steve Bassett was saying, I believe, if I'm remembering right, more toward the end of the year instead of September. And I'm really glad that it's going to be late September after the elections. I think that's terrific. That's when it needs to be, so it doesn't get drowned out by the elections. And, it doesn't seem like it's going to have any impact on the UAPDA amendment in any case, which would be, I think, the only argument for doing it sooner. All right, moving on. We got to get some woo, guys. We got to get some woo going. Okay. All right. This is from Vicky Verma. One study says 94% of DMT users experience similar otherworldly beings. Researchers are studying DMT, a powerful psychedelic drug that changes consciousness. As more people use DMT and clinical trials begin, it's essential to understand the intense experiences it causes. DMT can make users feel like they're in a hyper-real, otherworldly place, meeting beings that aren't themselves. Previous lab studies were limited and online surveys had flaws. This study aims to deeply analyze the profound experiences DMT produces, including encounters with unknown entities, to better understand its effects. Yeah, it's amazing that they are able to do these extended state DMT trials now under clinical settings and getting fantastic results like that. Yeah, 94% of these DMT users are seeing beings and seeing the same beings. I think there's different categories, like 20% are seeing, machine L's, 20% are seeing whatever, but they're seeing the same beings. It is repeatable. It is amazing. I have experimented with DMT, the raw DMT, a few times. I've never had a breakthrough experience, although I did get close. I am going for another ayahuasca retreat in 2 or 3 weeks. So that'll be interesting. It'll be with the new shaman in a new location. As some of you are aware, I had a bad experience with the previous shaman that I went to, which was a brand new shaman for me. And I'm used to going to retreats organized by the same 2 shaman. One is the master, one is the student who has now become his own master. They're amazing shamans. I've been so lucky to have those guys. Let's see. What's the baby's name? Impossible Visit says. I want to get to some of your questions. Baby's name is Ben, named after Obi-Wan Kenobi, of course. I was going for more of like, Brogan or Hatch or, something super cool like that. But my wife vetoed all of that. Yes. Yeah. She's smiling over there. Yes. Well, why not Brogan? Why not Hatch? Anyway, Ben is great. I love Ben. Ben is awesome. He's definitely worthy of being named after Obi-Wan Kenobi. I love it. She was also cool with him naming Luke. She wanted him to be either Luke or Ben, which I thought was pretty cool. So a very cool life. Yeah, thank you guys. Oh, thank you so much for all your congratulations. I really appreciate that. You can buy your own personal submarine for $12,000. I don't have $12,000 to spend on a submarine, but that's not bad. That's not bad. Thank you, Fast Mama Jamma, for sharing that. Katkin says it's crazy that just one person can block this. It's democracy, right? Yeah, what? Rand Paul. Thanks, Rand. It's supposed to be majority rule. This is minority rule. Totally crazy. How do we get anything done? Indeed. Oh, and by the way, I don't think I said it yet. So this is Jack with Cosmic Road. Get in here. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like. Please subscribe. Please let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments below. And if you are so moved, since this is a live stream, you can leave a super chat or a super thanks. The benefit of doing that is that your comments will appear in bold on my screen, so I won't miss them. I'm going to try to get to as many of your comments as I can. Anyway, although my time is probably limited, I'm trying to get out of this live stream before there's another brownout or my internet goes off, which is totally possible and happens. I think my internet went off 2 or 3 times yesterday and we had 1 or 2 blackouts. But yeah, so I'm going to try to make this quick. But I'll try to get to as many of your questions as I can. Fast Mama Jamma says it would be easier to get money out of politics than get UFO disclosure. Maybe, yeah, right. Well, it'll be wonderful if we get politicians actually interested in disclosing the most important thing ever. Justin Channel says Rand Paul is convinced of the Elizondo story that we have a security issue and need to protect the public when 85% of it is U.S. government tech being hidden. Well, I don't know about 85%. I think that's a high number, but definitely we've got our own stuff. 100%. Rand Paul, Katkin says, Rand Paul knows the amount spent on this topic was peanuts. So what's he up to? Yeah, right. $22 million for OSAP. That's nothing. That's chump change. Loud People says, whatever happened to Charles McAuliffe or Grush for that matter? Well, I mean, they're still around. Grush is hopefully going to come back in a big way, or at least his witnesses will. The legacy of Grush will come back in a big way with the new UFO hearing in November, led by Nancy Mace. Hopefully those witnesses that he interviewed and talked about will be coming forward, at least some of them, in November. That's what I'm rooting for. We'll see. Will David Grush appear in Congress again? I don't know. I'm still waiting for his op-ed. Will we ever get David Grush's alleged mythical op-ed? DJ Moon says, according to John McCain, Rand is a compromised Russian asset. Okay. Who am I says, congrats on being a dad, Jack. Thank you very much. Catherine Wall says, congrats to you, Jack. So happy for you. Fast Man Pajama says, Grush might be back to work with the overlords. Todd T says, a bit of establishment apologist in this case. DJ Moon, Jack is like Tommy Chang if Tommy didn't kill all his brain cells and got into science. I love it. Tommy Chong, yeah, Cheech and Chong. I remember I used to watch Cheech and Chong all the time. Katkin says, oh, the lovely good riddance. Yeah, really. Yeah, I am not sorry to see Sean go. I'm very curious to see what Dr. Kozlowski will get up to. Will he be another Sean? What do you think? Is Chris Mellon right to be more optimistic about Kozlowski? Fast Man Pajama says, wow, Lou better get some full spectrum cameras in his house. Yeah, I know. Does he have continuing activity? That's a great question. Does Lou Elizondo have continuing orb activity or other activity at his home? That is a fantastic question. And if so, can he get it on camera? That'd be amazing. That'd be fantastic. Tati says, yeah, that hearing might actually be worth watching, unlike the Gillibrand establishment snoozer. Yeah, I totally agree. Although I am curious to see what Kozlowski will say for himself. I mean, will he, be different? Is that, I mean, with Gillibrand backing him, I'm not very optimistic. So, but, he can't be any worse, I guess. Again, a low bar to set. Fast Mamma Jamma says Matt Gaetz is supposed to be pro disclosure, but he is in trouble with minors. He could be an overlord. Cheney is the okay. So I'm sensing a political direction to this. Fast Mamma Jamma says Danny Jones had the recipe for DMT in the show. Did he really? Did Danny Jones give out the recipe for DMT? Is that legal to give out the recipe for DMT? I missed that show, man. How did I miss that show? Robert Minardi says, I'm a former submariner, and they'd probably need a special type of submarine to retrieve UAP. Yeah, you'd think so. I'm just like imagining sci-fi, claws on the end of the submarine, grabbing UFOs and doing things. I don't know what would be necessary for all of that, but yeah, I'm sure you're right. Let's see. Are the beings reptilian? DJ Moon says. Which ones? There definitely seem to be reptilian beings, which is so weird. I mean, why do all the beings seem to correspond to earthly things? That is odd. That is odd. We've got reptiles on Earth. I want to see some crazy, freaky aliens, but we're getting reptiles, which we have. I want some of the new guys. I want something new, but we've got reptiles. Let's see. All right. Kakin says, Jack, what do you think about the object that is supposed to be on its way to Earth? Yeah, I've talked about this several times. Are you talking about the asteroid that's going to come between the Earth and the Moon in a few years? Blanking on the name now. Wormwood, or whatever it's called. Yeah, that's freaky. That's very close. That is scary. And if the astronomers are slightly wrong in their math, not great, but, let's just hope we can get to that point. Derek says it was 100% the antibiotics that caused a resurgence of your issue. Okay. All right. Oh, you're talking about my previous, ayahuasca journey, or something like that. Well, you are very possibly right, Derek. You're very possibly right. Tim says you should have called the baby Tim. I should have. Jack will